Many people are wondering why Enoch Burke is still being paid a teacher's salary when he hasn't taught for over 2 years and in fact was dismissed from his job. But the reason for it is straightforward enough. When he was terminated from his employment by Wilson's Hospital School, he has, in accordance with the Department of Education prescribed disciplinary procedure, the right to appeal that dismissal. And there was an external appeals body set up comprising 3 persons to hear his appeal, people who would not have been involved in any of the process, any of the investigation or disciplinary involving Mr. Burke up to that point. One of those members, Mr. Burke, took exception to and felt that he couldn't get a fair appeal, a fair hearing, and felt that there was bias shown by this union person, Mr. Christie, Kieran Christie. And so Mr. Burke objected to that and went to the High Court. The High Court ruled that there wasn't even a starting point to the argument that Mr. Burke had and dismissed his case. However, Mr. Burke then appealed that to the Court of Appeal. And so this has dragged on and prevented the appeal body from actually hearing his appeal into the decision to terminate him. And so the Court of Appeal yesterday, in a day-long hearing, listened to Mr. Burke's appeal. So he has appealed, or he has claimed in the Court of Appeal, that teachers around the country are being, quote, told to bow down to instructions to only use they rather than he, she, when referring to transgender students. He says that teachers are afraid of stating their true beliefs and are whispering their objections. He was making submissions as part of his appeal against the High Court's rejection of his challenge to the composition of a disciplinary appeals panel set up to consider his dismissal from his teaching job in Wilson's Hospital School in Westmeath. The panel was represented by senior counsel, opposed Mr. Burke's application for an order excluding Kieran Christie. Kieran Christie is the person that Mr. Burke objects to. He's the General Secretary of the Association of Secondary Teachers in Ireland, ASTI, and Mr. Burke claims that he is biased. The day-long Court of Appeal hearing passed off without incident, and Mr. Burke, who is well into his 2nd year in prison over his refusal to obey orders to stay away from Wilson's Hospital School, once again represented himself with members of his family present. The appeal court has reserved its decision. Mr. Burke claims he's in jail because of his opposition to what he quotes, or what he says is the ideology of transgenderism, and because he is standing up for his Christian beliefs and constitutional right to freedom of expression. The High Court last December heard his case, but dismissed his claim that there were grounds for saying a reasonable observer would have a reasonable apprehension of objective bias on the part of Mr. Christie when dealing with the disciplinary matter because of comments and actions made by the ASTI in relation to transgenderism. The High Court found that there was not even a starting point to Mr. Burke's claim that Mr. Christie has been a promoter of transgenderism since 2016. The High Court further rejected his claim of bias because of comments by the ASTI Deputy General Secretary Diarmuid Dupuyer in a newspaper interview that students should be generally referred to by their preferred pronoun. These were comments representing no more than the general position of the ASTI, the High Court found. Mr. Burke has appealed that decision and the disciplinary panel opposed his appeal. And that's what the Court of Appeal day hearing was about yesterday. Hope you find that video, and they've reserved their position. The Court of Appeal have not yet issued a decision. It will be interesting, but the High Court obviously felt that there wasn't even a starting point to Mr. Burke's argument. So, you know, it would be hard to see the Court of Appeal overturning that decision. Nevertheless, we will wait and see. Hope you find the video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate if you hit the thumbs up button down below, and you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.